Hey guys, so today we'll be looking at the Moxy Hotel in Bucharest, Romania. So the Moxy is part of the Marriott chain, and it is comparable in the approach to the W Hotel that's aimed at young people, however more at a budget level. So I paid around 40 euros per night. And in this review I want to show you whether this is a good value for the money I spent. So you have a lot of bars, restaurants, cafes, and also some of just in general the nicest pedestrian areas in the city. Usually an Uber from the airport costs you around 10 euros. Just do note that the traffic can be quite tough. So for me, even though technically it should have taken around 30 minutes, due to rush hour it took me almost 1.5 hours. So just keep that in mind when you plan your trip. The nice location of the hotel also means that you can reach some of the big and impressive buildings that Bucharest has to offer, like the Parliament, easily by foot. That's compared to other chain hotels that are a bit further outside of the city center. Now, when I arrived, the check-in process was fairly simple. I checked in online already on the Marriott app. They offered a Moxy check-in shot, so like a shot of alcohol when you check in, which was quite unusual to me. I don't know if that's the general Moxy theme, if they do that in every hotel, but definitely something that I have not seen before in other hotels. There was also a little raffle that anyone at check-in would be entered, where you can win instant prizes like cocktails at the bar. I don't know what the other prizes were. I actually drew a cocktail, so basically that's a cute little idea that you get at the check-in. Now, as I mentioned, the hotel is a bit more geared towards younger people. They want to be stylish and modern in their hotel, and you can really see that in, for example, the tapestry in the room, as well as the common areas that are really trying to bring that vibe of being this hip place in town where you want to be. On top of that, around the lobby area and the common area, they also have a 24/7 little mini mart, basically, where you can buy snacks, fruits, drinks, also wine and beer at any time. However, I noticed that the prices there were quite expensive, or let's say they came at a premium. Another nice touch is the really good Wi-Fi speeds that you get at the Moxy. Obviously, for younger people, that's way more important, and Marriott has taken a very uncomplicated approach. You basically just log into the Wi-Fi wherever you are, be that in the common area or in your room, and there's no further action needed, which is great. You can see that with some other hotels where you maybe need to be a member or a higher status to even get a Wi-Fi. So this is definitely a plus in my book. On top of that, because they offer a smaller meeting room and some work areas in the common areas, you can actually get some serious work done if you decide to stay in the Moxy. Now, I got a room on the highest floor, which is the 7th floor in the Moxy. I suspect that if you're actually on some of the lower floors, it might actually be quite dark in the room, because judging from the view outside, there's buildings all around roughly the same height, so you might have some less daylight if you decide to stay on lower rooms. I suspect that even though I don't have any special status with Marriott, I'm just a regular member, because the hotel wasn't at full capacity or even at half capacity probably, that they were able to give out nicer rooms to the guests that they had. Now, entering the room, I noticed a couple of things. First of all, it was actually quite a bit smaller in person than what the hotel room looked like on the photos. However, it basically offers you all the functionality you need out of a hotel room. One thing to note though is that because the room is so small, you have very little storage space. Even though I only had a backpack with me and a couple of shirts, I basically already struggled to put down my clothes properly, because there's no wardrobe. You have 3 coat hangers and a small little stand for your luggage, and that's pretty much it. So definitely something they could actually improve on. One other thing to mention is that there are no water bottles in the hotel room, which I found it quite a bit odd. It's always nice if when you reach your hotel room and you have a couple of water bottles in your hotel room, so you don't have to go out and actually buy some or even order it through the room service, which is usually quite expensive. Another point is about the AC, which every room has, but to be honest, I struggled to turn it on. I'm not sure if that's just my own fault or if there's some trick to it, but it wasn't a big deal. I was there just now at the end of November, which was already quite cold outside, but the building is well insulated, so you don't have to worry about actually freezing in the hotel room. In line with being geared more towards younger people, the Moxy actually offers an abundance of power outlets and USB outlets all around the room, which is great. However, one thing that I was actually missing was a mini bar, which is not offered in the Moxy. Not necessarily because I need the drinks from the mini bar, but it usually also means that you get a fridge where you can cool some stuff. In my case, I didn't opt for the breakfast. I usually have a yogurt in the morning, and I had no means to actually, store it in a cool place overnight. So that was a bit of a bummer. One other thing to note is that even though the bedding and the pillows are quite fluffy, the mattress itself actually reminded me more of a Japanese tatami mat. It was very hard and surprisingly so. Not a big deal for me, but just keep that in mind if you're very sensitive to the quality of the mattress. Now the bathroom can best be described as functional, as it is very small, but it offers you all the basic amenities that you need. That includes the shower cell, where you regularly actually will hit or touch the walls around you and the glass door because it's quite compact. And unfortunately, the shower does not come with a rain shower functionality, so you only have the hand shower. However, to be honest, the water pressure was nice and the water got hot quickly, so no issue there in my book. A nice touch, on the other hand, were the refillable soap and shampoo dispensers. Now that's just way more sustainable than having these little throwaway bottles, and in my book it doesn't take anything away from your experience, so that's a great touch. Now I did notice a couple of chips and damages around the armatures and the sink in the bathroom, as well as some stains from aging. So it was not enough to really give me a negative impression of the bathroom, but just something that is a bit of an indicator that maybe there should be some maintenance being done again, as the building is not newest anymore. Something I noted is that it seems that the cleaning service actually starts later than other hotels, so I assume it's because it's more geared towards younger people, so they assume that people are out later at night, sleep in maybe a bit longer, so they start later. So I actually had the scenario where my room was only serviced at around 4 p.m. once, where I actually came back already to the hotel room. So just keep that in mind if you're planning on leaving the room early and come home early, that this might be a little bit in your way. So speaking of young people and being out late, I also noticed that when you close the room door to your hotel room, it actually creates quite a lot of noise. And so I actually heard it a lot at night when people came home late. If you're a light sleeper, just bear that in mind, and if you need something where there's less party going on, you might want to consider the Hilton Garden Inn, which is right across the street. So overall, can I recommend the Moxy in Bucharest, and should you stay in it? I think it depends on what kind of rate you are getting and what you're looking for in a hotel. For me, at 40 euros per night, it was actually quite a bit cheaper than similar hotels like the Hilton Garden Inn that was right across the street. And at the same time, the hotel is just really nicely located to reach a lot of the sites by foot, so you don't have to take Ubers or taxis or trams anywhere. So with the price in mind, you actually get a fairly good value for what you're paying for. You get a functional but modern hotel. It's fairly clean, it's fairly new, it offers all the necessities that you need, and you can reach most of the locations by foot around. So if you've stayed in the Moxy in Bucharest, or in a similar hotel in Bucharest, let me know in the commentaries how you liked it or how your hotel compares, and I would love to hear from you. That's all from my side, and I'll see you in the next video. Cheers.